We're gonna watch this video. Let's go.
Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and today's video is going to be a bit of a heavy subject matter. So before we jump in completely, obviously with the title, you obviously know something is pretty wild at Twitch. Now, this is in regards to serious world-shattering events that, again, I'm not an expert in, so I'm going to kind of tread lightly in this situation, explain and discuss. Again, I'm not an expert in, so I'm going to kind of tread lightly in this situation.
Did he say cred? I'm pretty sure he said tread, but I heard cred twice. Why is his camera blurry? Guy who can't even make his camera focus. Let me talk about this thing I know nothing about.
Explain and discuss things that I reasonably can. But if you want to dive away
Jesus Christ
from heavy stuff and you
dude, being a Mudahar fan is hard.
You want to stick to something a little bit more, lighthearted, then, tomorrow I'm probably going to be releasing another...
And Canadian. Oh my God, dude. We have to stop all Canadians from talking about politics. All Canadians have to be barred from speaking about American politics. We've had like maybe one good Canadian that talks about politics ever. And like they've exported maybe 20 dog shit political pundits. It's not okay. Yeah, Lance. Liv is Canadian? What the fuck? Why didn't anybody tell me this? I thought she was lesbian.
Deep web video, so get excited for that one. We're looking at a lot of wild websites. And if you want to, look at things like LSD Dream Emulator, maybe some more creepypasta stuff, because I'm going back to that. This week is probably going to be a fun week for some of you guys watching Some Ordinary Gamers. A lot of callback to older content that I did and I want to be doing going forward. But this is one of those videos where I've seen it mentioned on the actual Reddit. So if you know that we have the Some Ordinary Gamers subreddit, and one of the top posts was, stuff about Asmongold the last couple days. So,
Why would an Asmongold video get posted into his subreddit?
These were pretty highly viewed posts on my subreddit, and they were ones where it kind of dominated the entire community for a little bit. So obviously, it's one of those things where I kind of want to jump into it because the rabbit hole that I've went down has shown me just how wild and insane Twitch, if not the entire internet, is effectively becoming. So to give you an idea, Asmongold, a couple days ago, made some rather inflammatory statements that got his account banned for 14 days. Now, the statements in particular I'm going to play, and obviously, I just want to preface, Zach Asmongold has pretty much walked these things back and, has apologized for it. But to show you exactly what triggered an entire giant domino effect on Twitch, we're going to play this clip right here and kind of touch upon it briefly.
If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a They're terrible people. It's not even a question.
So to cut the whole clip off over here real quick, obviously this kind of inflamed individuals because Zach was referring to Muslims.
I recently got to know that he did a Hajj in the past. I thought he was going to be more pro-Palestine and radical than Hassan. Dude is just a grifter. Yeah. I mean, people like this guy, Mudahar, the problem for... How do I put this? The problem with these people is that they grew up on the internet and they like certain aspects of the internet that I also like. And they've been deceived by bad faith actors into thinking that people on the left only have no fun zones. And so anytime they do something that people on the left don't like, they immediately assume it has to be because you guys are no fun people. And it's never, maybe I did say something that was a little too far, or maybe I did say something that I shouldn't say. And so they go, they get pushed more, like they push themselves more and more into the right. until they realize where they are. And then they just go full grift. And they're like, well, I'm here anyways. Might as well make some money off of it. Which is just so sad. Because, like, if you're basing your political opinions based on which party is nicer to you, like, Jesus Christ, man. What the fuck? Isn't that a little stupid? Isn't that a little dumb? You guys have seen Anna Kasparian doing the same thing recently, right? Talking about how people on the right were nice to her, and that's why she's become more and more right-wing. Don't even get me started on Thanksgiving. We'll watch a little bit.
Muslims, specifically from what I understand, Palestinians at the time, when asked to talk about a conflict like this. Now, obviously, you know, Zach was one of those people that said, weird as fuck to see many people coming out with statements about this conflict as if they need to comment on it. Can we stop this weird culture around expecting people with no relevant backgrounds or educations to talk about world events / politics? And I actually agree 100% on that. It's one of the reasons why I don't really go into these topics, because I'm
So shortly before he stopped engaging on Twitter, he got absolutely mogged. Mudahar got absolutely mogged when he said, I won't comment on Palestine. I don't talk about political issues. And then someone screenshotted him saying, I side with Ukraine, and saying, this you?
I'm a fat Indian guy whose background is computer science and cybersecurity. That's all I know. Okay, that's where I come down to. It's either that or playing video games. I'm not a global expert on anything, which is why I really don't talk about these situations. So obviously Asmongold walked it back, apologized, and said, my bad. Of course, no one deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. So in this situation, one could, you know, if they were to extend the charitability, could say that Asmongold was probably referring to extremists in the Islamic religion and their view on people in the LGBTQ camp, all right? As you all know, religious fundamentalists, whether you're in Islam or any religion, probably don't take too kindly to people that are gay, and that's probably what Asmongold was going for. Now, obviously, his idea of conflating this was probably not the smartest way to handle the situation, and that's pretty much how the situation ended up going. Now, he earned himself a 14-day ban, and what this did was basically show people that, hey, listen, this is wild stuff being said. This is some insane shit going on Twitch. But down the road on Twitch, there were plenty of other commentators known as Hassan Piker, and a few people in the politics sphere that basically showed that there is kind of a double standard in how Twitch enforces its actual, like, you know, TOS. So a couple, like, days ago, if not a day ago, it turned
Sorry, I was snacking on my little my little gathering snacks. Twitch absolutely has a problem with enforcing its standards equally, but just like every other company, it has everything to do with money and nothing to do with anything else. If anyone else said what Asmongold said, that would have been at least a month ban, potentially an indefinite ban. The reason he only got 2 weeks for an insane fucking statement like that is because he brings money to Twitch. That is the only reason. Okay? That's it. All right? It's the same reason that the rest of us got 30 days. It's because we don't make enough money for Twitch for them to care about us. That's it. That's the simple reality. Large streamers do not get the same treatment. They just don't. Streaming copyright material is a great example. Okay? XQC could stream basically any copyrighted material, and he will never catch a unless it's maybe Disney, because Disney be crazy. Disney and like Nintendo, they're a little wild. Other than those two companies, he could stream anything and he'll just keep catching 3-day bans, 3-day bans, 3-day bans. They'll never permit him. You're a small streamer and you stream, God forbid you're an affiliate, and you stream any copyrighted content, you're getting an indefinite suspension. Indefinite suspension. Like this idea that there is unfair practices is obviously there's unfair banning practices, but you're looking at the wrong fucking people, you idiot. And my problem is that they don't use this as a way to like attack. The way that they attack creators is so bad because I would be on board. And honestly, probably there is some part of this on Twitch's end that doesn't ban or is more lax on banning or punishing Hassan because he brings a lot of money to the platform. He brings a lot of views to the platform. He made politics a thing on Twitch. I don't think Asmon runs ads. He make money how? Subs? Subs generate a lot of revenue for Twitch. Like Twitch takes 30% of all sub revenue. But my problem is when these people attack, for example, Hassan, they say, well, Twitch clearly loves the left. No, they love money, you fucking moron. It's a company. It's a company in a capitalist market, you fucking shit for brains. If they have a preferential treatment towards Hassan, you should at least address the fact that it's because of money, you fucking dipshit. It's not because they care about the left. It's not because they care about the right. They don't give a fuck about either of those things. Okay? They only care about making money because they are a corporation. It is that simple. The only corpo that I can think of, the only massive corporation online that I can think of that does not value money above all else is Twitter because it is run by it's run by Elon Musk. And Elon Musk doesn't care about making money because he already has so much money and he has a giant ego and he just wants to make whatever he wants to make. Okay? I thought Twitch has never turned a profit still. Yeah, that doesn't mean that they can just like stop giving a fuck about how much money they make. Descriptivist, thank you. Vrexia. Yeah, the channel Asmon streams on Zach Bart isn't monetized. He costs Twitch millions per year in bandwidth. Yeah, but you have to recognize that he also gives them a lot of clicks. First of all, I think now his channel is monetized. But second, even when it wasn't monetized, it's still generating clicks for the website. Like more clicks on Twitch means more advertisers will advertise on Twitch, even if it isn't necessarily on that channel. But then also they eventually forced him to run it. I think now he has to have ads on his channel. Like not like pre-rolls or whatever, the same ads that run on every partner channel stream. More paper bins, please. Kakare, thank you for the 39 months. Thank you. And also now he has subs, yeah. I think Twitch still cares about left versus right. Your ban versus Asmon ban couldn't have just been revenue-based decisions. They are revenue-based decisions. They are 100%. I promise you. I promise you. It is revenue-based. And it's not like a flat... When I say revenue-based, I don't mean that they are trying to make a profit. Because at this point, I think Twitch is going to struggle to generate a profit just because hosting live streams is so expensive. At this point, I think they just want to have the market of live streaming all to themselves. The same reason or the same way that, like, for the longest time, YouTube wasn't profitable, but they stayed in business for as long as they did because they were the largest video sharing platform. Like, you can shit on Twitch as much as you want, and trust me, I do plenty. From my understanding, on the back end, Twitch is actually pretty well done. Like, the live streaming capacities are pretty good.
Twitch will never show a profit. It's better for their taxes for them to pass profit fees to the parent company than paying a tax on that profit before passing it through.
They banned you to capitulate a sense of corporate overview and fear of what clout the ADL might still have. I don't even think it was the ADL. I think it was just sponsors and advertisers. That's it. Because people have said way more insane shit, and what we did was not, like... You have to believe in a lie that we were attempting to dog whistle, which doesn't even make sense, because we put people in that category who are not Jewish. What a terrible dog whistle. here's this dog whistle that you insist that we were trying to enforce, even though none of us knew about this dog whistle, and nobody in the audience knew about this dog whistle. And also, there are people in that category that don't make any sense for that dog whistle. Anyways, 30-day ban. It's because of the ads. That's why. It's because of the sponsors. That's why there's no ads running on my channel. It's always been about the ads. The ADL will take credit for it because it's the fucking, like, ADL. They want to pretend like they're really enacting change. Just like every fucking social justice organization that is trying to run a profit. It's just, look, we're doing it. We're running a good company and we're enacting change. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Anyways.
Turned out that Twitch was apparently banning accounts from Israel from actually signing up. When making an account from Israel on Twitch, it apparently ended up being where Twitch provided one error into its site code where it said, oops, we encountered an unexpected error. 2023 was the error code, and the code was blocked country IP. So this apparently...
Sure, don't mention the fact that it was Israel and Palestine.
Ended up being addressed by Twitch. This was brought forward by Destiny and his co-host on his podcast, where they basically said, we wanted to address concerns we've seen about whether we're preventing Twitch account signups in some regions. When signing up for a Twitch account, you can select an account verification method, email or phone, for added protection. Following the October 7, 2023 attacks, we temporarily disabled signups with email verification in Israel and Palestine. Now, obviously, wild stuff indeed. But why did they do it? We did this to prevent uploads of graphic material related to the attack and to protect the safety of users. It's interesting how the site specifically picked this geolocated region in specific, especially when this wasn't enacted during Ukraine and Russia, or really any country that is still currently actively at war right now as we speak, okay? But anyways, to go further...
Actively at war. Yeah, man, it's definitely not a... It's... Okay. Nah, I'm not going to get into it. It's fine. It's fine. Comparing, Russia and Ukraine to Israel and Palestine and not understanding that the severity of the crimes is, off the chart on Israel's part. The fact that there hasn't been a motion to... call out Russia for genocide, but there's been a motion by the ICC for an arrest warrant for Bibi and Gallant for, a genocidal state should tell you everything you need to know. But this guy hasn't listened to a single fucking second of the ICC trial. He doesn't care about any of it. He just wants to feel smart, so he makes these videos and he's like, look, see, I know a little bit. I know Hassan Piker. I know the country that it's Ukraine. I know about Israel. So yeah, we're good. Detrius, thank you for the tier 1. Mimsy, thank you for the tier 1. Ayad, thank you for the tier 2. This is dude, what is this chat? Dude, I can tell this is a Mudahar fan because this is the worst, silliest fucking response on the planet. I get your dog whistle argument. It was a stupid excuse. But my point is, if you play stupid postmodern games, that's not what postmodern means, you win stupid prizes. Meaning if you scrim racism and sexism and everything, you get the same stupid storm back. ... Sorry. 1, don't use words if you don't know how to use them. Okay? If you don't know what postmodernism is, don't say that word. Don't. Why do people do this? Don't use words unless you... I don't use postmodernism 90% of the time, even when I want to, because I'm like, I can't be certain that I'm using that correctly, so I'm not going to use it. Don't. Stop. You look like skate park. Okay? Second. LOL, yes, I know. You are a postmodernist. Use alt. What? Huh? Were you trying to spell Foucault? What about when you use postmodernist? You don't know what that word means. Anyways. Oh my God. You are a modern Western left. Do you know that there's a difference between modern and postmodern? Do you know? Anyways, not relevant. This is clearly a chatter who is struggling just to stay alive. They're struggling to remember to even fucking breathe, I think. It's okay, buddy. That's why, like, the ... are kicking in. They're like, okay, breathe. You are postmodern. Okay, breathe. I gotta breathe. Oh my god. It's too difficult. But, sorry, more to the point. I can defend the things that I call racist and sexist. I can defend why I think that they're racist and sexist. I can explain why I think things are racist. I can explain why I think things are sexist. That are absolutely, like, defenses that are disprovable. Do you really think that because someone wants to call out inequality, they're not allowed to complain when other people are dishonest? That's silly. Don't be silly. Don't be this guy. Don't be silly.
And signups were not disabled.
And yeah, it's slop YouTuber time.
And we continue to see signups from both regions. Users could choose to sign up with phone verification. We've learned that inadvertently, we did not re-enable email verification signups for either region. Now, they've been community noted where they said even signups were impossible when using a phone number. So we deeply regret this unacceptable miss and the confusion it has caused. We fixed this issue, meaning all affected users can sign up with email verification. We've also heard concerns about whether our community guidelines apply to all content on our service, and we continue to enforce our rules as consistently as possible and are actively reviewing content and taking enforcement action whenever needed. Now, this last paragraph might be the biggest fucking sack of shit I have ever read from a company like this in my entire time on the internet. But to give you an idea, this was not like a VPN block or something of that nature. This was actual written into code, a geo-block of an entire region. So why would Twitch decide to ban Israel of all countries, especially after all of this has happened, from producing accounts and signing up to their service? It just doesn't make any sense. Well, since then, a fair amount of clips have come out that have addressed some individuals on Twitch promoting some...
My biggest problem with people on the right, or as they like to call themselves, centrists, which is somehow even more pathetic, is that they know that if they introduce all of the facts, their points aren't good anymore. So they have to obfuscate as much as they can. This is an instance where, like, anyone with 2 brain cells would point at the very least, if you're trying to do a takedown video, you should point at what Twitch claimed was the reason for why they did what they did. The problem with slop YouTubers is that they don't actually know why they disagree. And they're worried that if they introduce all the facts, they'll look stupid. Twitch explicitly stated the reason that they banned signups, specifically from email signups, I think, to Twitch from Palestine and Israel, and not Ukraine and Russia. The reason was because they were getting, sorry, these almonds, spam of, like, dismembered children. That they were getting a lot of NSFW sign-up spam. Which is not something that happened, unsurprisingly, with Ukraine and Russia, because it's not a genocide that's happening in Ukraine and Russia. It was to protect against October 7th footage, yes. Now, if he was a good propagandist, he would show that, and then he'd say, look at this is stupid. No, the reason is this. But he's not even a good propagandist. He's just a lazy propagandist. And I have no respect for lazy propagandists, dude.
Rather wild thoughts. So we're going to go down the clip rampage and just go through some of the wildest shit people have been digging out from Twitch. Now, CEO Dan Clancy comes out and says, we just posted an explanation of what happened. We're very sorry about the oversight. It only came to our attention today. As mentioned in the tweet, it did not affect people using mobile phone verification. Now, what's really interesting about this whole situation is when somebody like Dan Clancy says, oh, wow, we just found it out now. There was actually a small movement known as Baluat Twitch from actual like Israeli content creators where they actually brought this situation up. They dug into the inspect element, they dug into the console for their web browser, and right over here it said it gave the same thing, error 2023, blocked country IP. So when people started to email them around, right, Twitch support was like, hey, I'm really sorry that you're having issues creating an account. We reviewed your case thoroughly and confirmed, unfortunately, you are not eligible to create a Twitch account. So nowhere did they say use a cell phone number, not an email. That wasn't brought up. And then, of course, the further you dig out into it...
It's an automated message. Twitch sends automated messages to streamers who get banned on their platform. When my alt account got banned, indefinitely banned, by the way, and then it was removed after I actually got to speak with staff, I got an automated message immediately within 10 seconds. Twitch can't even treat their streamers like people, and you think they're going to treat some random person who's trying to make an account like a person? This is not going to happen. This is not going to happen.
One of the receipts that I saw posted was one from the Twitch user voice, where apparently a certain idea was deleted. That idea in particular was in response to you can't create an account in the region of Israel or Palestine. So again, it's a geo-block, it seems, of the area, allegedly. I agree, we're also people. You cannot make us not watch our favorite streamers just because we are from Israel, Palestine. So insane shit to be fucking seeing. You know, at one point, you get this piece of shit CEO that comes out and tells you, yeah, we only found out about it. I mean, again, it's just a blatant lie. So why the fuck would you...
How dare the CEO not know everything that's happening and follow every single tweet about his platform? He must be lying.
You need to lie. If anything, that just makes me more like... It just aggravates anybody watching this because you feel talked down to. You feel
has this guy ever worked in a real company before? No one fucking communicates? Yes. This is like very basic company, corporation, firm nonsense, and anyone who's worked at a corpo knows this. Anyone here has had the experience, has anyone here had the experience of going to your boss's boss and pointing out an issue that's been ongoing for a year, and they're like, oh, I didn't know this was a problem. This idea that it's like, Dan didn't know about this, but did you check out this screenshot of this tweet that was made in May about this? Also, I cropped out the likes, so you don't know that it got like 3 likes. What the fuck? I've been trying to get a program fixed for like 2 years. Back-end dev here. While it's true that the dev would immediately have understood the issue if they saw it, someone doing first-level customer service should absolutely fucking not be expected to understand it this abstract of an error. If anything, the issue is a problem getting lost in the shuffle, yeah. The problem is that these people are getting automated messages from Twitch, so a human being doesn't even get to see them. And if a human being does see them, it's probably a customer service rep who does not get paid enough, who has to deal with issues that span a million different things that they don't know anything about. And they're like, you can't make an account? Fucking sorry, we can't do it. Good luck. Okay, next problem. Quote, interesting. That's a new idea to explore. Nothing happens for years, yeah. Something, yeah, thank you for the 22 months.
Mocked at the end of the day, and it's such a condescending way to communicate to people that can easily counter you in about 5 minutes.
Honestly, if you really think about it, this rule actually hurt Gazans more than it ever would have hurt Israelis, because as geoblock, if it targeted that region, if you wanted to allow people to document and live stream the real atrocities that are occurring to them in that region, Palestinians could have used a platform to showcase themselves. In reality, it shows how borderline, it shows how stupid Twitch can be. In them trying to, I guess, protect people, they inadvertently limited people's ability to express and produce content that could actually be eye-opening to a lot of people who don't know about the situation. Beyond
me talking about Palestinians, they should have had Twitch so they could have made some sick content
on what they read on the internet and through their feeds.
But Dan Clancy is somebody that literally allows this site to foster some of the wildest shit you'll ever hear. Now, there's a website known as DanClancySucks.com, where it goes through a treasure trove of some of the most popular streamers on the site. One of the most popular political streamer, Hassan Piker, and of course several of his people in his camp, like Frogan, or really any of these other political people, these political slop creators. And again,
calling other people slop creators when you are a pile of slop who can't even be fucked to make your fucking camera not focus on your microphone is incredible. It's amazing, dude. It's amazing. Almost every single leftist creator that I know of that I've spoken to personally on Twitch, they actively and personally engage in fundraising, in mutual aid, in protesting, in activism. Every single person that I know of in the leftist space that I've spoken to even once has told me about the number of protests that they've went to, or the number of doors that they've knocked for, or the campaigns that they've helped with, or the mutual aid that they've participated in. Meanwhile, I know you never have left your house to help another person, unless it was in your immediate family, maybe. Incredible. Just amazing.
And I highly do mention the word slop. I know that people would say that, Muda, you make slop, Pyrocynical makes slop, Charlie makes slop, lots of people make slop. Now, I would say that in terms of political content creators, the kind of stuff and clips that I've heard are some of the most inflammatory shit that I have seen. And it comes from people that really have no understanding about what they're talking about. But Twitch has allowed a platform where you can just say whatever you want to say with no actual repercussion, provided...
What, unlike YouTube? As opposed to which platform?
Your politics are on their side. Similar to how Twitter or really any other form of social media kind of handles it. If you condemn Twitter for how they portray certain things on the internet, or how, toxic their platform can get, you also have to actually condemn Twitch, or really any platform for that matter. So, for instance, according to Twitch...
Yeah, guys, free speech is bad now.
And their community guidelines, if you go down to, actual civility and respect, hateful conduct, Twitch aims to be a place where everyone can come together and share community experiences. So what they say is Twitch does not permit behavior that is motivated by hatred, prejudice, or intolerance, including behavior that promotes or encourages discrimination, denigration, harassment, or violence based on the following protected characteristics. So those characteristics are race, ethnicity, color, caste, national origins, immigration status, religion, sex, gender, gender identity, orientation, disability, serious medical condition, and veteran status. So, because Twitch said, oh, we like to enforce our shit very equally, listen to what one of Twitch's political streamers has to say. This is Frogan coming at you with the dumbest shit that I've heard in a while.
I have no...
It's crazy that you would say that, Mudahar.
No pity at all for any soldiers.
I guess he doesn't watch his own YouTube videos.
Distress, thank you so much. I will never have any pity for any soldiers. U.S. military? Boo fucking who? I hope you get PTSD. I do, the ones I'm like whatever about the U.S. soldiers are the ones that acknowledge that what they did was wrong. They didn't know back then. Whatever. You're a good person in my book. I'm like a Tom, thank you so much for the 10 gifted. So the U.S. military that are you know, I did this back then, but now I know it's wrong. Like, I'm changed. Like, imperialism, this. You don't deserve the PTSD. But like any other motherfucker, you're joining them. You're, oh my god, I want my Camaro, no student loans. F you. I hope you get PTSD. And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back in America.
Also, nobody talks about the context of this clip. It was shortly after the article about IDF soldiers. I remember this article. It was IDF soldiers who were committing war crimes and like bulldozing civilians. And then they were like, guys, I don't feel so good after committing all those war crimes. I'm contemplating bad things about myself after killing a lot of innocent civilians. Guys, the guy who ran over kids with a bulldozer suddenly feels a little bad. Can everybody cry for him? Can everybody send thoughts and prayers? The soldier that was killing tens or hundreds of innocent children, he got PTSD. Isn't that the saddest story you've ever heard? What? What? For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about or doesn't believe me, let me show you. Let me see if I can find it.
The world's smartest violin.
Mom, thank you for the 8 months. Thank you. Wait. No, it's not this one. Oh, yeah, Noah Sampson made a video on it.
Hello viewers, today I'm going to read through an article from CNN called "He Got Out of Gaza, but Gaza Did Not Get Out of Him. Israeli Soldiers Returning from War Struggle with Trauma and Suicide." Why are we looking at this article today? Well, I think it's a good example of the freakish framing that Western media is willing to adopt in an attempt to humanize perpetrators of a genocide, which is one facet of the normalization of said genocide. As we read, I want to pay attention to the language, the framing, the active and passive voice as these events are described, as the Gaza genocide.
I never really thought I would live in a time that saying I actually don't give a fuck about soldiers who commit war crimes would be like even a little controversial. Like I you killed innocent people and I'm supposed to cry for you? You knowingly killed innocent people and I'm supposed to feel bad for you. No, if you kill innocent civilians knowingly, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't really care.
Is covered by CNN from the Israeli soldier perspective, from the apparently sad Israeli soldier perspective. There's some pretty horrific shit that gets cited in this article. I'll let you know before I get to that part. A 40-year-old father of 4, Eliran Mizrahi, deployed to Gaza after the deadly Hamas-led attack on Israel on October 7th, 2023. The Israeli military reservist returned a different person, traumatized by what he had witnessed in the war against Hamas in the Strip. 6 months after he was first sent to fight, he was struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder back at home. Before he was due to redeploy, he took his own life. He got out of Gaza, but Gaza did not get out of him, and he died after it because of the post-trauma, his mother, Jenny Mizrahi, said. The Israeli military has said it is providing care for thousands of soldiers who are suffering from PTSD or mental illnesses caused by trauma during the war. It is unclear how many have taken their own lives, as the IDF has not provided an official figure. So already there are some small cues as to the perspective that this is being framed from. This soldier was traumatized by what he witnessed. Some form of harm was enacted upon him by something he saw but had no direct participation in. apparently. We don't know what was witnessed at this point, and we'll see what it is, but just keep that framing in mind. 1 year on, Israel's war in Gaza has killed more than 42,000 people, according to the health ministry in the Strip, with the United Nations reporting that most of the dead are women and children. The war, launched after Hamas killed 1,200 people and took more than 250 hostages, is already Israel's longest since the Jewish state was established. And as it now expands to Lebanon, some soldiers say they dread being drafted into yet another conflict. So notice, there's no mention of who is actually being killed, just that a lot of people are being killed in this one place.
I mean, it could be anyone. It could be Palestinians. It could be Israelis. Could be Americans. Could be Canadians. It could be Australians. I don't know. It really could be anyone that's dying in this war.
Participants in that vague process are getting sad about it. It's also obviously being labeled a war in Western media. You will rarely find it being called anything other than that or conflict.
Despite the ICC's ruling that it's a genocide.
Glad you are back, Goat.
I feel like a lot of people just haven't looked at or watched or read any of what South Africa brought to the ICC. Or sorry, the ICJ. I don't know why I keep wanting to say ICC. I don't understand. Like, you can go and see videos showing what Israeli government officials have said about Palestinians and how the ICJ's ruling was specifically based on those statements. At least part of those statements. Like, I'm sorry, calling these people animals that need to get eradicated and saying they will have no food, no water, nothing. There will be nothing in Gaza. And then doing exactly that, you showed intent and then you acted on that intent. How are you still siding with Israel? I don't understand. I don't get it. You made a threat and then you acted on the threat. What's left? You gotta be OTK's #1 hater. Oh, thanks. You really think that? Thanks.
Conflict. But I, along with a bunch of Holocaust survivors and scholars and members of human rights organizations and academics and healthcare workers operating in Gaza, and really anyone that's been to Gaza, and the International Court of Justice, which determined that South Africa's case accusing Israel of genocide was plausible, issuing provisional measures in order to prevent this plausible genocide.
And then eventually issuing an arrest warrant for Bibi and Gallant.
Which Israel has failed to adhere to in any meaningful sense. This group of people and organizations is willing to call this a genocide. And then on the other hand, you have the Israeli state and certain random divorced internet celebrities. Who's to say which side is correct? But regardless of how you feel, while I'm going to read the CNN article as it calls it a war, it is, from my perspective and others, a genocide. A lot of us are very scared of getting drafted again into a war in Lebanon, an IDF medic who served 4 months in Gaza told CNN. A lot of us don't trust the government right now. Israeli authorities, with rare exceptions, have closed off Gaza to foreign journalists unless under IDF escort, making it difficult to capture the full extent of Palestinian suffering or the experiences of soldiers there. Israeli soldiers who fought in the enclave told CNN they witnessed horrors the outside world can never truly comprehend. Their accounts offer a rare glimpse into the brutality of what critics have called Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's forever war, and the intangible toll it takes on the soldiers who participate. So we're already off to a very odd start. Glimpses into the experiences of Israeli soldiers have been offered quite a bit by the soldiers themselves when they post photos and videos of themselves on social media, dancing to music as they destroy buildings, rifling through and defiling the homes that they have damaged or destroyed, and playing with the children's toys, or rifling through their clothing to wear women's underwear. Getting a look into the experience of Israeli soldiers is actually so not rare that there's a document of over 10,000 Israeli war crimes that have been committed on camera, and the reason we have these is because they post them on social media. Al Jazeera recently released an excellent documentary on this subject. I would recommend watching that, but even if this weren't the case, if nobody had phones there and they weren't posting this stuff, yes, it is difficult to get information from on the ground because Israel also keeps assassinating journalists, specifically targeting journalists and their entire families and killing all of them. In this genocide, we've seen the most journalists killed in a conflict in modern history, and we do have so much footage of these atrocities, both from the victims and from the perpetrators. So just imagine how much worse things are on the ground, given that Israel is so murderously restricting the people's ability to cover what's happening, to tell the truth about this. For many soldiers, the war in Gaza is a fight for Israel's survival and must be won by any means. Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes without saying, right? What they mean by any means is murdering a bunch of children, blowing up hospitals, destroying everything in sight. That's what that means. But the battle is also taking a mental toll that, due to stigma, is largely hidden from view. Interviews with Israeli soldiers, a medic, and the family of Mizrahi, the reservist who took his own life, provide a window into the psychological burden that the war is casting on Israeli society. Sorry, but just if you're aware of what's going on, this is just, do Nazi soldiers need better help? Could our genocide be more efficient if we just went for a morning walk every day to improve our mental health? Mizrahi deployed to Gaza on October 8th last year and was tasked with driving a D9 bulldozer, a 62-ton armored vehicle that can withstand bullets and explosives. He was a civilian for most of his life, working as a manager at an Israeli construction company. After witnessing the massacres committed by Hamas, he felt the need to fight, Jenny told CNN. The reservist spent 186 days in the enclave until he sustained injuries to his knee, followed by hearing damage in February when an RPG struck his vehicle. He was pulled out of Gaza for treatment and in April was diagnosed with PTSD, receiving weekly talk therapy. His treatment did not help. They didn't know how to treat the soldiers. Jenny, who lives in the Israeli Ma'ale Adumim settlement in the occupied West Bank, said, "Oh, that's great. So not only did they find a colonizing murderer's wife, they found a criminal colonizing murderer's wife, because that's illegal. Not that the state of Israel is legitimate by any means, but the West Bank settlements are, illegal under international law. These are the most extreme proponents of Palestinian genocide that you can find." When Mizrahi was on leave, he suffered from bouts of anger, sweating, insomnia, and social withdrawal, his family said. He told his family that only those who were in Gaza with him could understand what he was going through. He always says, "No one will understand what I saw," his sister told CNN. Jenny wondered if her son killed someone and couldn't handle it. Once again, this is littered with this passive observational voice. No one will understand what I saw. Okay, what would you do, though? That's, I think, the important part, that IDF soldiers, every single one of them, top to bottom, is complicit in this genocide machine. It's just a matter of how you chose to contribute. Mizrahi drove the bulldozers, and what does that mean? Well, we'll see. Okay, so in this article, the very next thing you see is an image of the Shujaya neighborhood completely destroyed. Absolutely stunning,
the most fucked up part about the genocide in Gaza right now and the destruction in Gaza is that I think everybody has gotten so inundated with these images that they look normal. And people don't realize that this used to be a city with buildings that weren't destroyed. This used to be a living, breathing city block of civilization. Yeah. Every image I look at, every image that I see looks like this. It's insane. Yeah. Like, you have to put in effort to try and visualize what this used to look like. Which is like fucking crazy. It's the same way that they treat Afghanistan. Afghanistan used to be beautiful, but now people can't divorce themselves from what it looks like after the US destroyed it. Too much of Gaza is just rubble now. The toll of the eventual rebuilding will be immense. I'm trying to find the video. I can't seem to find it. The video or the episode of Anthony Bourdain going to Gaza. Let me see. Here it is. I found it. It's an episode just where he travels around the area. I think he goes to Jerusalem. I think he goes to the West Bank. And I think he also goes to Gaza. And here, I want to show you guys because it's like, in my opinion, I think it's important to remember what these places looked like before they became rubble. That these were not always cities of rubble. Because that means like upside down, and the dish is completed by this right here, what you're seeing. This used to be this. Not like literally, like this is, I don't know if this is an exact image or if there is an exact image of this woman's home, but these were people's homes. These were people's backyards. These were people's gardens. These were people's homes that they got to have family members over, that they got to celebrate holidays, that they got to have people visit for birthdays or for just nighttime gatherings so they can enjoy food together and they can enjoy tea and desserts and fruit and share a conversation with. Like, these are people, these are their homes. And what is left? Rubble? These used to be apartments and small businesses, schools, hospitals, markets. But I feel like it's very normal to get super desensitized to these images and be like, yeah, but this is like Gaza. I've been seeing these images of Gaza for now over a year. But it's like, you have to remember that this is not what it was always like. These are people's homes. Al Jazeera has an interactive before and after of areas in Gaza. This is a mosque. And here's the mosque afterward. Oh, and they also have satellite images. The satellite images are like... The satellite images, I think, are some of the more brutal ones to look at. Like, you can see, like, people's yards are like small parks and playgrounds and homes. And what's left? Nothing. Here's what remains of Gaza's main university campuses. Sorry, I scrolled too fast. Look. And the left one is after October 7th. This is when people started to be displaced towards hospitals. And this is when people needed to start making more camps at the hospitals because it was supposed to be the only safe place. And here's after they tear everything down. Like Gaza 2023 walking video.